Welcome to the Life with Iliano's podcast. I'm Yayon's house.
Welcome to another episode of Life with the Arlianos podcast. And in today's episode, and in today's episode, once again, it was one of those days na parang, hey, what would be something nice to talk about? And I thought it would be nice to kind of tap into our motivational bank.
Motivational, I like that term.
Motivational bank.
Right.
Because, there are times in our life where, I mean, maybe for now, a lot of the drive that we have in us is fueled by our children.
Correct.
But before that,
Kahit mataas ang presyo ng gasolina ngayon, sila talaga yung...
But before that, there are all these little, there are people and there are things in your life that you tap into during those times when you really need it.
Right.
It's either when you're at your lowest, when you're about to do something really hard, when you're doubting yourself.
Para siyang
And there are different people and different things that serve that purpose for you,
So,
depending on what event you're going through.
can we kind of coin it as like a carrot on a stick, pretty much? Pwede rin to keep you going kasi what drives you, di ba?
Yeah, carrot on a stick, because it might be a carrot on the stick, a carrot that changes depending on the situation. Oo.
Correct. Para sa mga hindi nakakalam, carrot on a stick, yun yung parang nasa harapan ng...
Yeah, something that you're chasing after.
Oo. Yeah.
Because
Sige.
it's what you want.
Okay.
It's the carrot that you want, and you're going for it. But I mean, not necessarily. You don't have to go for it, but just something to remind yourself of who you are, of your worth, of what you can do.
What you can do?
Because sometimes it's not enough for you to believe in you.
Okay, go. Be specific.
Diba? So, a motivational bank. Well, ako, like, I remember when I was much younger, there was this life event that happened, and it wasn't a milestone, but tumatak siya sa buhay ko. Tumatak siya sa akin because I remember how bad I felt. And
How?
okay, so the scenario was, I was still auditioning for commercials, and na final cast na ako sa isang commercial where we had to, what do you call it? Be a barista. You have to throw the bottle, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Anong tawag doon? Basta it's like a bottle. Basta you flip the bottle. Is it the barista?
Hindi. Parang, di ba, may TGI Fridays nga na competitions.
Yeah, ganon. We had to throw these bottles around, and I actually didn't know how to do that.
Right.
Because it's not like it was my job.
Oh.
But when you audition for these things, you kind of have to just like, bahala na, I'm gonna do what I can, and bahala na if I can make it. So, of course, I was just trying to do my best, but I wasn't doing any good. And then the director like really made me feel like, you don't know what you're doing. I remember I felt so bad.
Oh, okay.
I went home and I set up like an airbed, and I was practicing.
I slept the whole day.
And I was practicing
okay.
how to.
Wow.
And I guess at that point,
Wait, you got that commercial, di ba?
Yeah, I did. I did get that commercial. I wasn't the lead. It was with Danita.
Right.
And that was where I first met Danita, who was my idol.
Hindi ba si Sid yung nag-direct nun?
I don't know.
Oh my God, si Sid yung nagsabi
I think it
sa
was called Coyote. No, it wasn't Sid. It wasn't Sid. But anyway,
Okay.
I remember it made me feel so bad. And then I had to remember what I was there for, that I had left my family in Australia to be here in the Philippines.
Right. It was such a big move for you.
Yeah, and I realized that because when naman how I'm highly sensitive. I see, because my mom, if for those of you who know me, you would know that my mom was always with me back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My mom was always with me back then.
Well, also because you weren't of legal age yet. So talagang...
Yes.
But when you turned 18 also, I mean, your mom
Yeah.
would still be with you.
And so when I disappoint, I see how she also gets affected. And I wanted to show her that, Mom,
Kaya
I've got
ko to.
this.
Kaya ko
Oo,
to.
I got this, Mom. Don't worry. Kasi she was feeling bad for me. So parang for me, my mom.
Oo.
My mom was that parang because
Yeah.
I could see the faith that she has. And I can see that, and I also see what she also had to sacrifice to be with me here in the Philippines. Diba? So, it was such a small thing. Yeah, it was an audition. But medyo tumatak siya sa buhay ko, Tumatak siya talaga sa buhay ko.
That kind of helped you. No, but it's funny because I ever since the first time I met you until now, parang if there is like one adjective to describe you, is pretty much like a hard worker. You work really hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes to a fault.
To a fault.
Sometimes to a fault.
And I know I got that from my mom.
I remember when you graduated from college, you were nasa auditorium kayo. Nako, the face of your mom talaga was just
Diba?
napapaiyak siya and everything because not only were you like a dean's lister, you were shooting so many movies at the same time. You were like doing soaps and commercials and like
Hindi ko alam.
God, that's crazy.
Looking back, I don't know how I did it, but with God's
crazy.
grace,
That's
got me
crazy.
through.
That's super
But
crazy.
yeah, my mom is definitely something that is part of that motivational bank na pinagkakapitan ko, pinaghuhugutan ko.
Or yung when you do life decisions, parang before you decide, parang what would mom think? May ganun ba? Kasama ba yun sa thought
Kasi
process?
not all the time nga love But during the times when I do start to feel doubt and fear, that's when I have to start tapping into, wait, what's this for?
You have doubt?
Where can I gain strength? And actually this was before I was very prayerful. This was before I was very prayerful. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who may not necessarily be prayerful and go straight to God for help, but when you don't automatically do that, you really look for strength elsewhere. And mom would be one of those where that would be my source of strength. Ikaw, love. I mean, when you do those Ironman races where you're racing for hours.
I don't know.
Diba they always say that you have to have that archive ready because you're gonna dig into that
Because the pain's gonna be there.
Yeah.
You welcome the pain.
you're gonna start digging for.
So the body,
You're gonna start asking yourself why.
the body will be, hurting, and so the only thing you have is pretty much your mind. Correct. I guess it depends on the race, but definitely back in what year was that? I forgot which year, but a very like a breakthrough year for me when it comes to my performance in triathlon or ultra running. It was because it was the year Papa died. So parang definitely there was an extra push. Na parang I didn't have. It's funny we were talking
Did you
about.
have to tap into it?
No, it's funny that.
Or did you do the race knowing I was going to do this for Papa?
No, it's funny because the prior to this episode we were talking about visualizing. I never visualized me crossing the finish line, sub 5 half Ironman. I never visualized. It was parang it was so natural. There was like someone pushing me. Like I felt pain, but I know I can go on. That's why I think it's such a. I mean, of course, I'm talking about what I learned from triathlon. When you go through all the pain physically, and I went through the pain mentally also, but because of Papa's passing. Parang it just made me such a I'm a lethal weapon. Parang
Yeah. Parang you could
I can-
take anything.
Oh man, super. Like, I remember the time na parang, when I realized na parang, wow, I went through that. Man, I can take on anything. Parang lumiit na lahat ng mga problema ko. Because, I can do that. I can do that. You know, parang that kind of opened up.
Okay.
That gave me the confidence to do stuff that, yeah, I can do that. Because, so I guess parang...
Wow, amazing the strength that you can gain from death.
Absolutely.
No?
That's why if that's the hardest thing that I ever experienced, no, I guess we go back to the like, for example, if people are struggling now with whatever it is,
Yeah, they're going through.
You think of it in a different way. Like, it will help you eventually. I know, of course, you get emotional at that point. Because you have to grieve. You have to grieve.
And because
You
it's
can't be
really
in,
natural.
you can't be
It's
in
only
denial.
natural
You
to.
have to grieve. But after grieving, you realize that, wow.
I got through that.
Yeah, even my like first heartbreak, na parang, what is this I'm feeling? Ang sakit ng puso ko. Oh my God, heartbreak. And I realized na parang, that the feeling was so alien because I had a nice childhood with my, siblings, even though my parents broke up. It was just like a happy childhood. So, when I felt that feeling, parang, what is this? Parang mamamatay. But then, because of that, I experienced early, parang it kind of fortified me as a person. Parang it made me stronger, like with relationships, made me more mature, parang learned so many stuff, and then parang translated or like, we applied sa relationship natin throughout the years. Diba? Like, for example, I remember telling you when we first, it was communication because I had problems communicating with my past girlfriend. Parang ganon. And look, here you are married with 4 kids.
Still talking.
Like in front of, listeners and viewers. Yeah. So parang, I guess, the learning from these difficult situations or experiences will lead you to, I guess, confidence and just doing your best and being your best, diba?
How about for like now love? Are there times where you've had to remind yourself of your kids to fuel you through something that you're going through? Or like a decision that you're about to make?
No,
and
then right now, sa totoo lang, for the past number of years, parang I'd like to think that I'm stress-free. Like, stress is a choice. Of course, we put stress into our bodies in a good way when we do work out. But in terms of the bad stress, ano na tayo dyan?
No, you don't have to be stressed naman.
No. I mean, like, for example, I don't...
But,
meaning,
is there
going
something
through...
that you're facing and then it's like you have to... Kailangan mong humugot. Like, I guess in the present, our motivational bank would be our children.
Yes, absolutely. Ako kasi that's ano Parang ganito, pag magbabiyahe ako, if I go out, and this is weekly biyahes, di ba? Parang I need to leave 2 days. I have to be gone for 2 days every week. And I hate leaving you guys, di ba? But
nakakatulog ka ng maayos pag wala kami.
no, really. I hate leaving you guys. And most of the time na kunyari pupunta kami sa isang isolated area na whatever tapos walang signal, anong gagawin ko? I whip out my phone
videos.
And then I would just watch videos of our kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's automatic. So it brings me to, and then don't get me wrong, I love shooting for biyahe, but I also don't like being away from you guys. But that helps me a lot. Though, if you're, if you want to talk about the kids, like just watching them.
I realize, love, that the kids motivate me. But when I think of a specific instance when I think about what I can be for them, it's when I work out.
Yeah.
I work out, and even when it's tough, I'm just thinking, you know what? This is gonna be worth it because I'm gonna be 80 and 90. Who knows how old? But I'm gonna be old, and I'm gonna be able to keep up with my kids and my grandchildren.
I think same naman yung mindset natin pagdating sa ganun, and that's why I think even though we've been repeating this for so many times, na parang it is part of the lifestyle. You know, like even like IF for me. IF for me is a mainstay, intermittent fasting, because I know I can maintain, sustain, diba? Like, nasanay na katawan ko. So it's been what, 2 years now? 3 years now? So nasanay na katawan ko. And the main goal nga is to just live longer, to just be with the kids longer too. So yes, you know, to answer what you're asking, yes, the kids also
Right now, it's for the kids. So for you, it's been, of course, your papa. It's been the kids.
Dami.
I remember, love, you did a run, and you did it. It was the Happy Run, and that was for
2009.
That was for children,
Right.
right?
You're right. No, paano ba to? It was okay. It wasn't like, it wasn't a specific thing eh. My mindset that time was because I felt so grateful for my life. And at that time, and I'm not measuring it through, you know, monetary, compensation. I'm not measuring it through that. I'm basing it on how I felt. Na parang,
You felt so happy.
I felt so happy, I want to give something back. And I think ever since before, it's been with me now, na parang giving back. Diba, like putting up a gym here in the, it's part of that. Hey, if putting up this podcast, it's pretty much giving back. If they can, we're not earning any, we're actually losing money, but we're giving something back to them if ever there's,
something that we can share.
Something we can share.
That you're able to use.
Yes. That's always been the mindset naman. Diba?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So with that, I guess I just want to remind you guys to look, it's pretty much looking for your whys.
Right.
Diba?
Yeah.
Searching for your whys and having that archive ready. Look for the things that you live for. Because, times will get tough. And you're going to have to dig into and open up that archive.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so useful because that's going to power you through those hard times.
Before we end, it's kasi I remember, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but, and this is so important. You're out there working because you're thinking you need to take care of your kids. But you yourself, you're not taking care of. So yes, the why. You're doing this for the kids. Pero are you taking care of yourself? Because eventually...
For you to be able to enjoy that with the kids. Ganun.
Yeah, and I told my friend, I remember, na parang, you're doing this for your kids, but you're not taking care of yourself. Hey, if your kids get older na, baka what you saved for them, they need to use pa for your hospitalization.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's.
Or how will you be able to do things for the kids if you aren't taking care of yourself? Then you won't be capable of being able to do anything now for the kids.
Yeah. Yun lang yung parang last thought that I actually can think of, because we're in that process of trying to find your whys. Diba?
Yeah. Trying to find our whys, trying to take care of ourselves so that we can enjoy what we have. And enjoy the whys.
And disease.
For a little longer. The whys and disease.
The whys and disease.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy day!
Happy day.
Welcome to the Life